These are when your kids have flown the nest. They've launched out on their own. They're off to college. They're figuring out what it means to adult. The biblical emphasis is trust and influence. And in this phase, you have moved from commander to coach to counselor. Now you're a consultant. And so your focus is, how do I invest in the relationship? And so you give advice when asked. You speak the truth in love. And then you leave the results to God. And then you pray and you pray and you pray and you pray. Those are the 4 phases of parenting. Now, the good news is, with God's help, you can do this. Parents, discipline and disciple your children. Now he talks to employees. And he says, employees, work like Jesus is your boss. Listen to what he says. Verse 5. Bondservants, obey your earthly masters with fear and trembling, with a sincere heart, as you would Christ, not by the way of eye service as people pleasers, but as bondservants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, rendering service with a good will as to the Lord and not to man, knowing that whatever good anyone does, this he will receive back from the Lord, whether he is a bondservant or is free. He says, employees, work like Jesus is your boss. Here's how you do it. Do it with, he says, sincerity of heart. Sincerity of heart means to do something with your full concentration. Meaning, when you're on the clock, you're on the clock. And when you're off the clock, you're off the clock. When you're on the clock, you're giving it 100% of your focus, your energy, and your attention. In other words, you're not doom scrolling. You're not on social media. You're not doing online shopping. Why? Because while your boss may not see it, your big boss, Jesus, he sees it. And whatever you do in work or deed, do it as if you're doing it unto the Lord. So he says, do it with sincerity of heart. And then in verse 6, he says, not by the way of eye service. That means whatever you do it with excellence. You go the extra mile. You don't cut corners. You don't do the bare minimum. You do it with excellence. Why?